Welcome back. This is a crystal clear mind. Hello my beauties, how are you all doing out there in the world? Wherever you are listening from, thank you for being here with me today. And there is a lot to get into. So we've got quite a period of some really interesting energy that will be going on. So I decided to pop the full moon episode up earlier than I normally would, definitely ahead of time. But it's so that I can kind of incorporate the fact that we've got the spring equinox and there's also a lunar eclipse, which we will already be feeling that energy from. So this is kind of a combo episode. So let's just get into it. So we're going to start with the fact that today marks the end of winter for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Tomorrow, the 20th of March, marks the spring equinox, and I think that at this point we probably all desperately need it. I think everybody just needs that kind of that lease of new life and that kind of fresh vibe that comes with it. It feels like it has been a very long winter, so the spring equinox will be incredibly welcome. The spring equinox, what it is it marks the sun's crossing above Earth's equator, so kind of moving from south to the north. Earth's tilt on its axis is what causes a northward shift of the sun's path across our sky at this time of year. Earth's tilt is now bringing spring and summer to us in the Northern Hemisphere. During the spring equinox, the two hemispheres are receiving the sun's rays equally. Night and day are of equal length, which again, especially if you're in Britain at this point, these longer evenings have just been such a relief. It's just so nice to get rid of the darkness. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty grey out there. We're not really seeing a huge amount of sunlight still, but at least we are getting the longer days, which just instantly seems to lift that vibe, changes how you feel about everything, which is absolutely fabulous. So the equinox can kind of bring with it like a fresh start feeling. As I was saying, spring is here and little baby animals are being born and these beautiful flowers are all kind of popping up. And in the UK we've got daffodils everywhere at the moment. I noticed the other day that there are daisies starting to come out. It starts to give it like a lovely rebirth, renewal feeling after such a long dark winter. Now that's occurring tomorrow on the 20th of March. So this is kind of the beginning step to this rebirth, renewal phase, this fresh start phase. And then the beginning of the astrological new year, which is starting with Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, that actually begins today. So again, we've got this astrological new year. Everything starts again. It all starts fresh. From an astrology perspective, New Year doesn't occur on the 31st of December. It starts today. So we've got that kind of rebirth and renewal, and we're starting back at the beginning of the zodiac signs. And then on the 25th of March, we also have the first full moon of spring and the first full moon in the new astrological year. And this full moon is going to be in Libra. So we've got the sun in Aries and we've got the moon in Libra. And then to add just an extra little kick, we also will be experiencing a lunar eclipse. So there is a huge amount going on all at once in the space of about 7 days. Now, the sun, beginning its new year in Aries, Aries is a lively, action-oriented, fast-paced sign, which, is represented by the charging ram. Aries has a tendency to dive headfirst into new opportunities, new experiences. So it's got this lovely expressive energy. It's really got a kind of go get 'em kind of attitude, which is beautiful. And then we've got this penumbral eclipse on the full moon. Now, an eclipse on the full moon can only happen when the sun, the earth, and the moon all line up in space with the earth in the middle. So Earth's shadow falls on the moon, creating a lunar eclipse. And a penumbral eclipse is by far the most subtle out of the three types of eclipses that can occur, as it can only really be seen as a very light shading on the moon's face. So we might get a chance to actually see a light shadowing on the moon. So people in like Antarctica, Western Africa, Western Europe, Japan, America, and the eastern half of Australia may get a glimpse of the shadowing. I will reiterate that it is incredibly subtle compared to the other two types of lunar eclipses, and it's definitely nothing like a solar eclipse. It really does just look like light shadowing on the moon, but still very beautiful to see. From an astrological perspective, an eclipse is like a very life-changing time to seek change and usher in evolution. During a lunar eclipse, your emotions and your subconscious patterns will be revealed when the moon is covered in the Earth's shadow. It can be quite intense, the feelings that come from this raw energy, and the energy of an eclipse can be felt about 6 to 8 weeks running up to it. So we already will have been feeling that energy working with us. We probably would have felt those emotions already, kind of all the way back to sort of like middle of February. So it's a really, really great time to kind of start to focus in and pay real close attention to kind of what's happened to you, or what has presented itself to you, how you have felt, especially if you have felt very intense, very strong, very potent emotions in that time, because these are the things that need to be worked on. So if you kind of cast your mind and your memory back to middle of February, running up to date, and try and notice any patterns or themes that have kind of been niggling or bothering or outright upsetting you. Or, of course, that's all on the negative turn. Think about the things that have presented themselves to you as amazing opportunities, golden opportunities, moments that you kind of look and you think, wow, where the hell did that come from? It doesn't all have to be on the negative slant. But consider all those things that you felt or noticed or has happened to you in that run up to the 25th of March, because we feel it more intensely on the run up than we will do necessarily on the day that it occurs. You might find that pathways have been shown to you to tell you what you need to let go of or what changes are needed. And this is where we kind of need to not just tap into our memories, but into our intuition, into our emotions and how we feel about situations or relationships or the things that we do in our life, including business or work, and see kind of where you've been guided to notice. And this is being highlighted to you during this eclipse period, then this is something you need to be paying attention to. Now, eclipses bring about very transformational energy. They can bring people and opportunities into our life, and they can also bring them out of our life. And these are some of the things that you need to also be keeping an eye on, because it can bring you opportunities that you need to be focusing on, things that are really good for you or that you've basically manifested out of your desires. And it can also be hinting to remove things out of your life that are blocking you or restricting you, are toxic for you or not necessary, and it's just not aligned with you. Every 6 months we have both a full moon lunar eclipse and a new moon solar eclipse. So again, we're going to sort of use our minds and our memories here. If you can cast your mind back to mid-October, so October 14th specifically, last year, there was a new moon solar eclipse. And this eclipse kind of built the building blocks towards the full moon eclipse that we are about to experience. So you need to have a look back a little bit further and kind of look at what has been building and growing or becoming more of a problem or becoming more irritating, more frustrating, bringing you more joy. Notice these building blocks like steps from last October, stepping itself all the way up to what will be the eclipse on the 25th of March. Now, during an eclipse, big impulsive commitments can prove to be a little bit disappointing. But if you keep it more simple by releasing a habit or releasing a job or a relationship, especially when it feels like it's so overdue, can be vital for ushering in the new energy of this time. So as we enter Aries season on the 20th, tomorrow, this is an exciting time, bringing around a fresh start and an opportunity to embrace our passions. Mars governs Aries. Aries is a cardinal and fire sign. It's also known for its impulsive, action-oriented, fierce nature. It's a super sensual sign, argumentative, savage, competitive spirit with an unyielding desire to come out on top in all aspects of life. So in this season, we strive for nothing less than perfection, and we expect the same level of commitment from those around us too. We will refuse to settle for mediocrity, and we will make a conscious effort to cultivate meaningful relationships in our life that are built on a mutual respect and a mutual effort. Now, the ram does not like to sit still, and it does not like to wait for things to happen. We will be making connections with others. We will be manifesting our desires, and we will be going after the things that we want in our life. Mars, the ruler of Aries, will be moving into Pisces, which will encourage us to take movement through our fantasies and through our emotions. And then we get the lunar eclipse in Libra on the 25th, which will prompt us to decide who and what we are most committed to. And then we've got Libra that the moon will be in, and that is also a cardinal sign, but it is an air sign. It's a leader, and it sets the tone and the feel. And a very large theme running around this full moon in Libra is relationships. Now, that is a very distinct theme, although it is a broad theme, because it's not just talking about your partner. It could be talking about your relationship with your children. It could be talking about your relationship with your friends, your family, your work friends and colleagues, your boss, your business partners, or yourself. So you're going to need to tune in to your intuition on this one and really use this collective information to really work on what it is that you want to work on. So if we're casting ourselves back to October last year, and we're looking at the building blocks from one eclipse to the other, and we're using the energy and the vibe that we have felt since the middle of February running up to this current eclipse, trying to intuitively work out what it is that we are being guided towards, to release, to remove, to move forward with. And then knowing that the Libra full moon is very distinctly making you look and be aware of your relationships and how much value you have in them, and how much value you have in yourself, and how much value they have in you. The eclipse on the full moon will be in the south node, and this confirms this kind of letting go energy. The south node is a symbol of clearing out, energetically releasing, and departures from your life. So when you look at Libra, and it's represented by the scales, so we're talking about a balance, a harmony-based sign, particularly in our relationships. So we're working with trying to get balance, to regain balance and harmony, using those that Libra energy and using the scales to bring us back into balance, to make sure that what we give is what we get, and what we get is also what we give back. What you're going to notice is there's going to be a shake-up in this area. There will be huge shifts surrounding this. There'll be revelations and realizations with others. How are you showing up in your relationships? How are they showing up in your relationships? Are you appreciated? Are you valued? Do you appreciate and value others? It's kind of a time to really sink into evaluating your connection to others and to question whether this is actually reciprocated. So you've got this beautiful mesh of energy. You've got Libra sinking you in with full moon energy, asking you to really evaluate the relationships in your life and the balance that is within them, or what balance could be created if you wanted to change things. You've then got this Aries vibe of go get them, get stuff done, let's make this happen, sort of driving you forward to make these things become reality for you. You've got intense vibes coming off of the eclipse, which is trying to guide you to really sit down and listen to your intuition and see if you can receive any downloads as to what it is that you need to be focusing on, what it is that you need to change or release in your life that is actually holding you back, and you know it. And then you've got on top of that this lovely astrological new year beginning and this lovely spring equinox beginning, bringing with it fresh starts, new beginnings, paving the way for you to literally restart as you see fit. And then on between the April the 1st and the 25th of April, Mercury, our favourite planet, will go retrograde, our favourite thing, and it will go retrograde in Aries. So as with all retrogrades, during this time, you'll find that things like communication may become more difficult. We'll feel more heated. Words can become quite salty. Arguments can happen very easily. So you've got to kind of take time to understand what it is that you want to say and make sure you're kind of outlining it in a correct manner that gets across the point that you need to get across without necessarily exacerbating the situation. And likewise, watch out for what others say. So try and hear what they say to you, like really hear it and feel it and process it before you react, because that retrograde can sometimes just spin us quite out of control quite easily. Travel can become quite frustrating. Electronics will go haywire. You know, always whenever a retrograde occurs with Mercury, check every email, check every text, check anything that you do electronically. Be careful on your social media, your posting and so on and so forth, because it just messes with electronics like no one's business. This is the time when you find that things just don't work and you don't know why. You can accidentally send a message that was for your boyfriend to your mum, you know, and so on. It can just, so keep your eyes on electronics. They can go haywire at any moment for no reason whatsoever. Words can become quite hurtful from yourself or to yourself. So take that time, April the 1st to the 25th, during that Mercury retrograde, to just be mindful. Try and be calm and be thoughtful about how you express yourself. This is not to say that you let people walk all over you during that time. It's just that it can get quite heated out of nowhere. It can feel very intense. We can already be feeling very on edge, very frazzled, very emotional from it. So it doesn't really take a huge amount to knock us over the edge in these times. So fair warning, this is coming up. Be prepared for it. Definitely get the journal out and work through those feelings, and it will pass by the 25th of April. So from all of this sort of energetic collaboration, really what we need to do is focus in on those relationships, really tune into your intuition. It will be your guiding light throughout this entire period. It will never steer you wrong. It only has your best interests at heart. To avoid unwanted occurrences, it's critical that we must just stay in our own lane and focus on our own path as well. And we need to kind of work on how balanced we feel in ourselves, but also how balanced we feel with others. Work on your own value. How much do you value yourself? Work on yourself first. We've got to kind of think, as we do with all full moons, what is restricting us? Where are we restricting ourselves? Where are we holding ourselves back? Because Libra really wants to bring back that balance and that harmony. And Aries really wants to drive you forward so that you can just move forward without any guilt, without any concerns, without any worries or holdbacks. It just wants to go forward. So you've got lovely energy that could really balance themselves out there. You can move forward and feel balanced at the same time. I mean, this just sounds absolutely fantastic. So there is a lot of wonderful energy working in your favor for the month ahead. Now, I would strongly advise during this intense time, because just because good things come out of it doesn't mean that you won't feel that intensely. So through this intense time, I would strongly suggest getting that journal out. Crack that book, get your pen, make a cup of tea, get comfy, light a candle, and be as comfortable as one person can be, and just journal everything out, all those feelings, all those emotions. Get it all out of you, because this can bring about such clarity. It can also really help from like an intuition point of view, because you end up intuitively writing the more that you write. So it will drag out things that perhaps you hadn't quite noticed, hadn't quite felt, hadn't quite heard or seen. And you'll notice patterns that things are trying to guide you towards. So get that journal out, get writing. It will help you significantly, and especially through that Mercury retrograde. Definitely get those feelings out so that they don't come flying out of your mouth, so that, you know, we can avoid unnecessary arguments, or because the planet has gone retrograde. Now, if you're working with crystals, I would really love to recommend that, because of the themes that run with the Aries energy and the Libra energy, to work, I'm going to actually suggest a few more than I normally do here. So to work with this Libra Full Moon energy, I'm going to suggest rose quartz. This is to connect you to your relationships, to the love in your life. So we're kind of working with that Libra theme of looking at your relationships, even if that relationship is with yourself. I would strongly suggest here using turquoise as well, because this is the stone of friendship and communication. And again, those relationships are all connected to this kind of energy. To connect with the Aries energy, I want to suggest to you to work with sunstone. This is to deal with that independence and that self-worth and that value in yourself, but also to connect to that Aries go-getter vibe. You can do this. It will offer you confidence. But the thing I also love about the sunstone is it will connect to that spring energy, that sun vibe, that light energy that we all need to make us feel like we're glowing inside. And I also would love to suggest Amazonite for courage, to give you courage to go and do these things, to manifest these desires, make these things become reality for yourself. And blue lace agate for confidence, to take hold of those things, to grab those opportunities, make those moments happen, release those things that make you so unhappy and aren't working for you and aren't aligned to you, because we all need courage and confidence when it comes to those big moments in life. And the last one, I'd like you to work with obsidian. Now, I love obsidian. Not that I don't love all crystals. If I'm absolutely honest, I can't pick a favourite. I will always say that this one's my favourite, and then I'll say the next one's my favourite too. But obsidian, known as the warrior of truth, it is the teacher stone that can expose those darkened subconscious areas and help you face your inner self. And I feel with all of that combined energy, this would probably be a wonderful one for you to work with, probably your strongest one to work with in this time. Bring all of that stuff to the surface, help you see it, help you face it, and help you to move forward. Well, that's about it for now, my lovelies, but I wish you all the best for this lunar phase ahead, and I hope this information is helpful to you. Let me know how you get on, guys. Take care.